Good evening, Chris. Welcome to hashtag Lee Rogers Meets. How are you?
Good, thanks, Lee. How's yourself?
Really good, thank you. Great to have you on.
Cheers.
Really looking forward to catching up and just having a chat. I think for people watching this, they should know that we kind of grew up together with certain Dave Clark as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so from years and years ago, playing football on the school field and stuff, and here we are, sat as I use the term loosely, adults.
I know I was going to play. So let's kick off. Tell us a little bit about your career, Chris, if you don't mind today.
Yeah. So from leaving school, I went to work for Benson's Beds, the head office over in Birchwood in Warrington at their old office there. Stayed there for a good number of years. Loved my time there, really. Met some great people. Kind of learned a lot, really. Not skills for the business world and things, but business about skills about life, really. Met a lot of different people working in a big company, mixing with people who were, I don't know, might be warehouse staff, managers, managing directors, other colleagues and stuff. For a 16-year-old lad leaving school straight into employment, it was a big step, really. But I really enjoyed my time there and left. Started there in 96 and 97, left there in 2005, I think. So I was there a long time. Leaving there, I'd had a few different jobs, many different jobs, from selling on the road, franking machines, confidential shredding, telephone systems, you name it, I've probably sold it. But again, gaining experience all the time, and then ended up working for an outsourcing company in Warrington on behalf of Royal Mail. Worked there for 7, 8 years it was, and then decided to kind of take the plunge. I've always fancied kind of working for myself, and I always had weird and wonderful ideas and how I can kind of earn some money without in the 9-to-5 grind, really. And then finally one day took the plunge and went for it, and here we are.
Nice. And what was it that helped you or made you think about taking that plunge? Because that sounds quite a big leap for it, and I'm sure a lot of people would, thinking in your way, might be fearful of that.
Yeah, well, I was exactly the same. Like I say, I've always fancied running my own business. That was the kind of dream for me. Really, my dad had his own business. My dad was a butcher, and then from there he went on to run a pallet yard and things. So I was always kind of intrigued on how it works, and basically kind of I always saw that the money was for people who owned their own business. If you're working for somebody else, you're just kind of making the man at the top or the woman at the top the most money, and you're just kind of a cog in there. So that's why that always kind of drove me to it. Now, I always had different ideas of how to make money and what I could do, what I couldn't do, and things. Some bizarre things and things that maybe could have worked. But you get kind of, once you've been in a company a long while, so I was doing well. I was hitting the figures that they wanted to hit. You become kind of stuck in a rut, and you kind of start to have you miss your chance, self-doubt in yourself. But then you start thinking, well, you know what? I've got this idea here that it could work. Let me think. And then I had an idea of running my own business for a good 3 or 4 years, knowing exactly what I wanted to do. And then all of a sudden, I started to get a little bit frustrated where I was. I kind of grew up a little bit. I wanted to be a little bit more successful, earn a little bit more money and things. And where I was, it wasn't right. I got the feeling that people didn't really take me seriously of what I wanted to do. And in the end, I remember one story where we was in the office and they came round. They were offering like an on-the-job learning qualification or something that it was. It was over 2 years, but at the end of it, you came out of a nationally recognised qualification. And they were going around asking people whether they would put the name down for it, and I put my name down for it. as they were coming around, and they kind of laughed at me and they said, "Nah, you won't stick to that. Nah, I'm not even putting your name down." And at the time, I was like, "Right, okay. Is that the way you say it? A bit of a, yeah, I was a bit of a joker and a little bit lazy and stuff, which no problem, you know what I mean? I'd fully admit that, bit of a joke, a bit of all that. And I thought, you know what? And it kind of, in a way, probably gave me a bit of a kick up the arse, really. And then from there, I started putting plans into place to make the step. And a few times I remember, because I left my job with Raw Mail to start up a parcel business. And I remember I sold my car at the time and bought a van. And at the time I was getting a lift into work from somebody else. And I remember the day I was going to give me notice in, I rang my girlfriend on the bus on the way in this one day, and I said, "Listen, am I doing the right thing here? Tell me now, am I doing the right thing?" I had the envelope with my resignation in me, and am I doing the right thing? She went, "Listen, just do it." And I'm a believer in you can always worry about what ifs. Just go for it. If you got a dream of something, just go for it. And that's what I did. So that day I handed in my notice.
Wow. And what would you say to the people that sort of dismissed you at that point about even doing that learning qualification?
Maybe it was a bit of my own wrongdoing. If I'd have maybe applied myself a little bit better in the time I was there, maybe they hadn't got this perception of me. But maybe I think there is certain things. Every single person, no matter what they do, whether they're a road sweeper or a managing director, everybody inside them have still got a skill and something they can do a lot better and help in different ways. So maybe I would say, don't kind of dismiss it. If you don't think it's right for the person, it might not be. They could have come to me and said, "Listen, I don't think this is right for you, mate. We know what you're like. You're going to mess about. You're never going to complete this qualification." And I probably wouldn't have completed it. No, hand on me, I probably wouldn't have completed it. But I think there's ways to go about things. I think they could have maybe gone about it a different way. Maybe talked to me and said, "Listen, I don't think this is right for you, but what's your dream? What do you want to do? Tell me what you can do. Let's see where we can help you." I think.
And what are you the stuff you do now? What are you most proud of?
With the promotions, it kind of comes in two forms, really, with the events business. There's two things. So my main two achievements is there's two parts of it. So my main two achievements is one, bringing the heavyweight champion of the world to Warrington. Tyson Fury brought to Warrington straight on the back of getting up in the 12th round against Deontay Wilder. Bringing him to Warrington and the hype that it brought, there's probably, at the time we brought him to Warrington, there was not a bigger sportsman on the planet. And I'm bringing him to Warrington. Little old Warrington, me, who finished school in bottom set maths, English, did all right at PE, got a decent grade in IT because I cheated. You know what I mean? To bring the heavyweight champion of the world to Warrington is huge. And then following on from that, just last year, one of our last events before lockdown, Ryan Giggs, we brought him to a sold-out Par Hall just in front of just short of 1,000 people that organised and brought in. You know what I mean? And it's like you look back on these things and you think, wow, I've done that. Nobody else has done it. I've risked it. I've done it. So that's really, really proud moments for me, that is. And then on the other side, the proud moments are, it really struck home to me when we had an evening with Brian Robson at Eagle Sports in Warrington. And as usual, I don't really get to see the celebrity on stage or anything. And this one time, I remember I was backstage and I came out and you could hear a pin drop in the room. He was commanding the audience, brilliant, Brian Robson. And I looked across the room and I thought, this is kind of one of the things that it means to me. People were in front. There was grown men in there. They were hanging on his every word. That was at that moment in time, they were in their element. That was their best time ever. So for me, looking at these men who were like, and women, there was just that was their moment. You know what I mean? So that's also a proud moment for me. And then afterwards, when people had been to your show, or straight afterwards, they're like, "Oh, you that lad who did that show?" I went to that. That was brilliant, mate. When's the next one and things like that. So it's satisfaction as well. But they're the proud moments, really.
And Robbo, most illustrious captain of Man United in terms of numbers of years served as captain. I only learned that on a quiz from work, so I'm just throwing it in there as a
Thanks, mate.
feel and no, but like that's huge, and champion of the world, and it's genuinely a delight. Not as it almost like sounds like a hanger on, or I know that guy, but it's massive for me to see your growth. Really, I think that's well inspiring, and there's certain moments in there where you kind of have to, I guess, reflect on yourself and the journey that you've been on, as opposed to just being in the here and now, or then like going to the next thing, if you like.
Yeah.
So talk to me then. You talked about some of your successes there, and they're phenomenal. It's great to hear. What have been some of the challenges, Chris, throughout your time?
I think I alluded to it a little bit there with the qualification and the challenges for people to kind of take you serious. Really, it's very easy to become a bit of a stereotype person when people just think, oh, he's a bit of a joker, he's lazy and things like that. So the challenge has been kind of trying to change in people's mindsets, because I remember when I was leaving my full-time employment to take the risk going on my own, people were like, oh, you'll never last. You'll be bored. It'll never last. You'll never be able to sit down. When you run your own business, you're everything. Your accounts, your customer service, your marketing. You're absolutely everything. You'll get bored. You'll never be able to do all that. You won't cut it. And I was like, and it kind of puts you down. You start self-doubting yourself. So they're the challenges, to kind of believe in yourself, and to put it into kind of real thing, that one of the challenges for the events and things is like, even when things aren't always rosy, you don't always have the perfect event. You're going off your own ideas. Whoever you book, for example, Brian Robson, I would say, yeah, Man United fans, England fans, no brainer, I'll sell tickets on that. But you might have other events where it's an absolute struggle to give away tickets for it, and it's not all plain sailing when people see on social media of smashing it. So sometimes it's really, really not. It's kind of, it's false, really. So the challenge there is to still keep plugging away, keep going for it, still trying to sell your tickets, still try and market it. And when the event comes, maybe you've not sold all your tickets or you're behind with money and things, but you've still got to put on that persona that all calm, everything's fine, fantastic event. Because the guests that have turned up and have come along, you've still got to make that experience once in a lifetime for them. So no matter what's going on with your personal life and things like that. So we had an event with Phil Thompson not long ago in November. We managed to get it on social distance, that kind of thing. And it was the day after my dad died. So my dad died on the Saturday, and we had the event on the Sunday, going back to September last year. People in that room didn't know that my dad had died on the Saturday afternoon. They were coming to see Phil Thompson. So you've got to kind of put a fresh face on it and go ahead with the event. Nobody would have minded if I'd have cancelled because of the circumstances and things, but that's their time. They've bought a ticket. That's their time. So one of the struggles is kind of keeping calm, keeping focused, and being motivated to carry on and get through whatever life throws at you, really.
You've just reminded me of a quick story. I resonate with that, right, on a really profound level, in that I remember my stepdad had passed away via suicide in really difficult circumstances, and I was on teacher training program, and I kind of spoke with my mentor at the time, like in the school or whatever, and his response to me was to say, those kids still need a teacher.
Yeah.
And it was almost tough love at the time. And I'm still not sure to this day whether that was the right advice or not, because what I instinctively know is kids pick up on vibes brilliantly, and they don't flower it up. They will call a spade a spade. And I probably did a really poor job to try and hide stuff, if I'm honest. But I still went in, and I still faced it in terms of, there's almost a duty or a self pride, if you like, around actually how do you apply yourself, and what would that a person wanted you to do.
Yeah, of course. And I think it probably did help you because it gives you something else to focus on. I'm a massive fan of having something to focus on, and kind of moving on with things. And always, I'm a big positive person, really. I kind of think things happen for a reason. You've got to move on. 3 years ago, I think it was, I was diagnosed with blood cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma. Still doing the events and things, and in a way, it going on to focusing. I was putting events on, so I was having chemo on the Friday, an event on the Saturday, whatever, different things, and I think because it focused my mind on things. I wasn't sat at home worrying what could be, worrying, feeling ill and things like that. Yeah, I didn't feel the best, but because my mind was focused and I needed to do things, and other people were kind of relying on me, probably a bit strong, maybe, but they bought tickets to see whoever they were coming to see. So I had a duty to put on the best of shows. I mean, they didn't know that I had chemo the day before or the week before, or my arms full of holes from blood tests and things. It doesn't matter to them. They've bought a ticket. They couldn't get. They're coming to enjoy themselves, and you got to put it on. And I think it massive. Going back to your story there of you might have done a bad job. Sometimes I probably spoke to people in ways that I shouldn't have spoke to people because your mind's all over the show. You're not being nasty, and you said you didn't do the job to the best of your ability. Probably not. But doing something like that, I'm a big believer, has helped you get through things because it focused your mind.
I think on reflection, what it has done is, I always talk about this, whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, but this is the way I look on it, is they almost go perception gauge. So, and I always put my hands up like this. I don't know why, but it helps me kind of visualize.
Yeah.
So when a problem comes in, I go, does it stack up with what I dealt with previously? Versus is this just a moment in time issue? Versus it being a full time issue that absolutely needs lots, or actually will it be a non-event in 3 days time?
Yeah. It's one of them where there's someone I know very well who he has. He's wrote a book on it, the sumo. Paul McGee, his name is. Have a look at him. He's really good, and he has a thing where in 12 months' time, will this thing really be worth the stress? Somebody dying and things like that is completely different in this category. But when you get up about a stress at work or something, and you think, you know what, in 12 months' time, is this issue really going to have an effect on my life? Probably not. So if you kind of take a step back and look at it like that, and think, well, hang on, let's reevaluate it again. Let's move on from it. You know what I mean? And I'm a big believer in moving on from things. Life's too short. You know what I mean? We can get around things and issues. Let's talk about it and let's draw a line under it and let's move on.
Yeah, massive. So what do you do for fun, Chris?
That's a swift move, isn't it? From death to fun.
I was just like moving and transitioning.
For fun, I enjoy. I absolutely love. I love going to the pub. No, I love spending time with my mates and my family and things like that. I still play football. I've just turned 40. I still play Sunday morning football when lockdown's finished. So we're going to go round again. The joy the team did fold, but we're looking to we're going round again this season on the promise of the end of season doing Benidorm. So that's keeping me going. Busy. I enjoy working. I enjoy it. With being I'm massively into sports and things like that. I will watch any single sport, anything. I'll watch it. My missus goes mad at me because every single thing. We do a podcast kind of thing on my own business, and I talk about all these weird and wonderful sports. But I'll sit there. I'll watch yachting. I'll watch timber world championships and things. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me. So that's what I do for fun. I love spending time with friends, going to the pub, socialising, playing a bit of sport, watching any sport. And that's kind of me really. But I enjoy working because big fan of sports and all stuff like that. So I enjoy putting different things together. I love organising. Before I got into doing events and things like that, every year I ran, I called it the mystery tour. So I think in fact you came on Dave's stag do where we had a bit of a mystery thing about it. So what we did was nobody knows where they're going. Everyone pays their 50, 60 quid or whatever it is. And I book the train and the hotel. I just tell everyone to meet at 10 a.m. in the pub. We all meet, we have a breakfast. And I say, right, lads, taxis are here. We're going to the train station. And then we all get off at one stop and we have a few beers. I say, right, lads, it's time to go back on the train. And nobody knows where we're going until we arrive in that destination. And that's where we are for the night and carry on drinking. And then it's back home the next day. So straight for years upon years, I've organised things. So I'm very, very lucky in what I do. I still get to organise things. I get to meet some great people and listen to some great stories. So I quite enjoy going to work.
I bet you do. And like, do you believe in you make your own look?
Yeah, I think I do. To be honest with you, it's difficult. But I mean, footballers and things completely different kettle of fish, aren't they? I believe that they're born with something. Footballers, I don't think that can be taught. But yeah, I think you do make your own look. If it wasn't for me, thinking, you know what, let's try this. Every single time I put an event on, it's a risk. So yeah, you've got to work hard, but it is a bit of luck in there as well. And I do think you create your own look. Yeah.
Great. You noticed I said silent when you said about the Dave stag do there. I'm probably going to plead the fifth.
Yeah, less said the better, mate.
that might affect my branding somewhat. Just to say, a good time was had by all.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Absolutely. And how's and you've talked about being, an optimist. What's this pandemic been like for you and being in the events industry?
It's tested me, mate. I can tell you that. So we managed to get a couple of events on about 12 months ago now, March time. Just managed to get them on, and then we were locked down. And then at the time, same as everybody, you think lockdown for a few weeks, and it kept on going on and on. Nothing's happening. So we're basically, I'm in a lucky situation where I do have another business that I mentioned before, a parcel business, but there was nothing happening. So I thought, right, and you mentioned about looking for the best in things and kind of creating your own look. So I thought, what can I do to kind of help my situations? No one's going to help me. I can only do it for myself. So I decided to open a shop in the local shopping centre, selling memorabilia, signed memorabilia that we deal a lot with every single day, working with celebrities and things. It's ideal. I've got an absolute load of stock and things. Let's open a shop. Brilliant. We opened the shop the day Warrington went into tier 3. The only person to ever open a shop has went into tier 3. We was open for a week and then had to shut. So it's been testament that we opened again. Thought, lovely, let the good times roll. Here we go, and we had to shut again. So for what should have been about 4 months trading up to just past Christmas, I think I got about 6 weeks out of it. But you could only laugh, you know what I mean? There's people out there in a lot worse situation than I was, who have lost their jobs and things like that. I'll reinvent myself, you know what I mean? We're kind of hopefully coming out of it now, and I can sell some tickets and put shows back on. Other people have lost their job and have to look for alternate employment. I'll kind of rebuild, reevaluate, and see what we can do. And that's where I think being positive, you see me then, you know what I mean? We've shut the shop, events aren't happening, but what can you do? There's nothing I can say or do is going to change it. So let's just crack on. Let's move on. What else can we do? Let's see where else we can go.
I love your energy and you getting an insight into your mindset there, Chris. And I think it's so powerful. You know, I would term that in my world around control the controllables. But I think how you've just articulated it in a really honest, authentic way, it can be really powerful.
That's because I'm not intellectual as you, mate.
Listen, you're the one, the business owner, putting on world stars. So I think I need to take a leaf out of your book.
I don't know about that, mate. It's just determination and positive thinking, mate, gets you through.
Yeah, I think it's. So what? Here you go then. What's success to you?
Good question. Success. Success to me is kind of, again, it's two, and I'd be lying if I said it didn't come in the form of money. I am money motivated. That's why I've done sales all my life, because I am money motivated. I'd be a liar to sit in and said, oh, it's all about satisfaction. So it is the money aspect of it. So every event I put on is huge risk, massive risk. Whether I sell 2 tickets or 2,000 tickets, the celebrity or the talent, whoever it is still going to turn up expecting to be paid. So that's down to me. So success is money that I can kind of earn from it, but also as well, success is knowing. When I mentioned it before, when people are coming to me saying, "Oh, you did that event, what a great night that was," that's my success. And I mentioned the Brian Robson story a little bit earlier. Again, I love people talking about what a good time they've had. So on some events that I've struggled with, the greatest satisfaction has come from people saying, "That's the best one you've done. That fantastic." That, where deep down I'm thinking, yeah, it might be the best one. I've just lost an absolute fortune on it. But to see their joy in people's meeting the heroes and have such a good night that you can see they say, oh, they'll get the phone. Look, this is my picture with them. You know what I mean? And to them, you can see them light up. So that's my success. It really is.
And you know what, Chris? Just reflecting for a minute. You know, if I go back, I don't know, 30 odd years to when we were kids, I think the principles and the light, the energy, the positivity that you bring was the same as it was 30 years ago as it is now. Now, I'm not saying you've not matured and you know, listening to you reflected.
I'm definitely not matured, mate.
Hey,
definitely not matured.
Well, maturing then. Maturing. Everyone's on a journey, right? No, but I recognise the characteristics and traits in you all that time ago as I do now speaking to you.
Yeah, I would like to think that I treat people right, whether it's, like I mentioned before, a road sweeper or a managing director. I treat people like people. I always like to say I'm courteous and things like that, and respectful to everybody. It's the way I've kind of always been brought up, and I can't see it changing. And I think I've worked with different celebrities who've come to us when I've booked them for shows and events with quite bad reputations within the industry. They come in you think you make a joke that they only want blue M&Ms or something like that. It's not quite as bad as that, but they come in, they're a bit arsey and they can't really be bothered. They're going to hit a certain time and they're going to leave the building and things like that. And they're not very good with guests. And I think I've not had that experience because I like to talk to people. End of the day, no matter who they are, what they've earned, what they've achieved, they're still just like me and you. They still went to school. They're just very, very good at whatever they do. So I just treat people as people, and I think that washes off. And so far, I've not had any real trouble with anybody, and I think that stems me in life right through.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, it's fascinating. So just then, I guess finally, I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you'll have lots of promotions to do with the plans coming ahead.
Looking forward to me tea.
What are your real hopes and dreams beyond your tea for the future?
Hopes and dreams. Oof, wow, you put me on the spot here, mate. I'm hoping to get back to some kind of normality sooner rather than later. We've got some unbelievable guests we're in negotiation with, and kind of bringing to England and things like that. I'm just hoping that we can carry on, get back to normality, and keep putting on some shows. And I've got dreams of all kinds of different stuff that I want to do with events and things. And it's just kind of, again, it's going back to the younger myself of believing in myself. I've got the idea there, and it's a kind of leaving your full-time job again, because I'm settled in. I can put an event on tomorrow with a speaker or something, no problem. But what I want to do something different. And it's a case of believing in myself, of thinking, you know what, take that leap, step out of your comfort zone, give it a go.
Yeah, I remember I did radio. Sorry, I'm a radio panelist for BBC Radio Manchester, and I always remember Simone Riley, the radio presenter at the time, saying to me, 15 seconds to go. Like, there was no massive big briefing, and it was like I'd been calm and cool all day. I'd taken selfies, in the BBC kind of offices, and then at that moment it hit me that when this is real, and you're going to be speaking to X thousands of people, and I was so wooden. Like, I listened back at it. I sort of, people said, "How at work? How did it go?" Whatever, and I was like, "Yeah, it was all cool." That first one was horrid, but like the first time you do a podcast or anything like that, it's always a little bit crunchy. But then moving forward from that, you just started, and I think you used the words before about how do you reinvent yourself. I've kind of like gone, how can I just be more authentic and just be me? Because at the end of the day, that I'm going to be the best version of me if I can just be myself.
Exactly right, mate. People buy into people, and if you are a bit too wooden and false, people are soon going to switch off and not really want to know you and things like that. So just be yourself and kind of. What's the worst? What is the worst that can happen if you're not yourself? You know what I mean? If people don't like you, not everyone's going to like everyone. People don't like you, so what? What's it matter in the grand scheme of things?
Absolutely. So from that, if you could give yourself, an 18-year-old Chris, any advice, what would it be?
No, this is pre-watershed, this. 18-year-old Chris, what would I say? I would say, don't let others talk you down. If you believe in something, go for it and try and do what you enjoy doing. So I'm very lucky. I've now got a company doing events with celebrities and sports and things like that. And it effectively, it's my dream job. I'm, as you well know, I'm not good enough to play professional football. So just do what you enjoy doing. Have fun along the way. Be yourself. Have some fun. Don't let people talk you down. If you've got an idea and you think it's going to work, go for it.
That's awesome. That's it sounds like sound advice to me.
It's not done me too bad, mate, as we're going. Hopefully, like I say, get back to some normality and get some shows on the road again and move forward and staying positive.
It sounds brilliant. Looking forward to seeing the lineup.
Good stuff. Cheers, Lee.
All right. Thanks for your time, Chris. Really appreciate it.
Good seeing you. Thanks, Lee. You take care.